Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Welcome to
Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton in the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala, the horse capital of the world, with my co-host Dancin Pete Rodda from Complimentary Horsemanship. That doesn't mean it's free, by the way.
Yes, that doesn't mean it's free.
How was your week, by the way?
Oh, it was great.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic.
So we have a very...
Stupendous.
Stupendous, that's a big word. We have a very, very special lineup, I think, for the show today, because probably one of the finest horsemen in the world is Buck Brannaman. And he's followed by millions and admired by so many. And after having a chance to meet him at the Florida Horse Park, I figured out why. He's not just a great horseman, he's such a humble man. So laid back, so calm. I think I told Pete that now I know why horses relax around him, because he made me want to take a nap. He is just such a calm, quiet, humble man. And it was pretty impressive to talk to him and have that opportunity to just have a very kind of candid chat, sort of off the usual glitz and all of that, but just a nice, comfortable talk. And what a wonderful man. So,
and we got to watch him before this. We got to watch his clinic, so it was really fun.
It was really special,
to step right in and then do an interview with Buck Brannaman. And
yeah,
I was a little,
he was a little starstruck.
Yeah, just a little.
Anyway, we have several segments with him today for you, so we hope you enjoy those. And then a friend of ours, Ian, who's a CEP partner, introduced me to a lady by the name of Roslyn, who was an animal communicator, and I was very skeptical, admittedly.
She called me.
Skeptical. Yes. I wasn't really sure how to handle it, but I am always curious and interested in meeting new people and seeing what their abilities are. And having met Roslyn and seeing how very real she is, I was very, very happy to just really get her very intuitive self over to my farm to visit and chat, and we had a wonderful opportunity to do that. So Roslyn will be joining us.
And that's the beauty of the Horse Talk Show.
Yes.
All disciplines, all breeds, and
all topics of interest to our listeners.
Because there's lots of people that believe in it. And
yes. And I don't want to shut somebody down and not give them an opportunity to share their story. So we had a wonderful chat with her, and very, very good experience. So we're going to share that segment with you as well. But before we get started with Buck, we've got a few things to remind you about. The biggie is Seminole Feed Stores. 90 years old. Now look, I know there's other feed stores and businesses that have been here a long time, but nobody can get up there in that 90-year celebration. Nowhere near, maybe not even half that. 90 years making feed here in the horse capital of the world, in a medication-free mill, in a safe mill, where they just make horse food. And we love Seminole Feed Stores, and they are celebrating 90 years on Saturday, April 13th. And if you're listening on the radio right now on the Sky, it's today.
Yeah, go out there.
Don't miss it, right? Because Saturday morning on the Sky, don't miss it. Door prizes for the first 50 customers. Lots of in-store giveaways with chances to win. Seminole swag, horse treats, store savings. And if you come down there, Pete and I will be there. We're gonna be there visiting. And if the location in downtown Ocala is not doing this, so you need to be at Bellevue between 8 and 3, or you need to be at Highway 40 West between 8 and 4. If you want to enjoy these savings, it's $1 off Seminole Feeds, $2 off Seminole Wellness, 15% off in-store items, community tack and equipment sale.
First 50 customers, there's door prizes, so
Yep.
get there early.
Yep, get there early. And the Highway 40 location's the one that's got the community tack and equipment sale. So if you're interested in that, in the tack sale, that's the one.
And I think it would be fun to interview a few people, come up and we'll interview them and see what they think of the Horse Talk Show.
Yeah, and share their experience there at Seminole Feed Store. So help Seminole celebrate that 90 years. We think it's a pretty special big deal. And we also want to remind you about another event that is coming up May 12th. And that is another local event here in the Horse Capital at Midnight Rose Equestrian on May the 12th.
From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is going to be, because you are their first responder, and that's my favorite quote on this, is it's going to teach you first aid for your horse or how to take vitals, when you should call the vet, what you can do before the vet gets there. These are all important things. You can't call the ambulance of the EMTs to come and get it all prepped for the vet. You're the EMT. And then when the vet gets there or you load him up and take him, you already have things going on. Bandaged him up.
And if you want to learn how to bandage and how to recognize colic, as Pete said, you're their first responder, and are you ready? That's the question. So $99, Midnight Rose Equestrian Center, Citra, from 10 to 2, and this is in partnership with Equi Cool Down. We're very excited to have Maria and Christiana together on this. Such a great opportunity for you to learn Equi First Aid USA. So I'm very excited about that. And another upcoming in just a few weeks.
A few weeks?
Well, no, this is months. Okay, no, I was going to the Derby,
November 22nd.
Yeah, no, months. So November 22nd and 23rd, we want to remind you about the Equine Industry Expo, Hobby Horse Equestrian Games, and Horse Capital Parade at the Florida Horse Park. That is 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the 22nd and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the 23rd. And we partnered up with Florida Mounted, who are going to do the extravaganza on the Friday night, the 22nd, at the Florida Horse Park. So there's going to be a lot of horsing around, fun available. Now what I want to mention, coming up in just a few weeks, is the two most exciting minutes in sports, and that's the Kentucky Derby. Is going to be... Well done. The first Saturday in May is very special, and the reason it's so special in the horse capital of the world is usually 2/3 of the horses were trained right here in Marion County and the surrounding area. So we are going to have additional coverage on Facebook.
I still say we get some way of saying Ocala bred, Ocala trained, Ocala bred and trained on these jockeys so that we know which horses came from Ocala. I think it would be really neat.
Well, Louisa always knows.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, if you're watching the race, you could see it on their silks or on their boots or whatever we put it on, so that you could say, oh, that one's from Ocala.
So it's the one Louisa's screaming for. Yes! Anyway, there's already lots in that first 20 horses that were trained here. So we're going to have extra coverage for you on Facebook, and we're going to have coverage for you on Equus TV Network, and we're going to be there and bring you some coverage as well, right from Churchill Downs.
And this is the first race for the Triple Crown, so it's always the fun one, because whoever wins, everybody's going, oh, could this be the next one?
Yes, and the big deal is it's the 150th Kentucky Derby too, so it's a huge celebration of 150 years of the two most exciting minutes in sport, and it'll probably be an Ocala-Marion County connection that wins it, so, because it usually is, which is really awesome. And as Pete mentioned, it is the first leg of the three. And the toughest thing of all is this is 3 races in 3 different states in 5 weeks. Most horses are trained to race about once a month, and maybe a little less than that, but about once a month. And these horses have to do these 3 enormous big deal races in 3 different states in 5 weeks, so it's huge. So we love to see, of course we love to see a Triple Crown, but we especially love to see a Triple Crown if there's an Ocala-Marion County connection. So we've got less than a minute left in this segment. We want to remind you that Buck Brannaman is coming up, and as I said, we have 3 segments with Buck. So you're going to learn all about him, what he teaches, and he certainly is one of the finest horsemen in the world.
And to me, this is probably going to be one of the best shows because of the interview with Buck was so powerful.
So incredible, yes.
Yeah,
We
you can't
really
split
hope
it
you
up.
enjoy it. Yes, so enjoy Buck, and we'll be back with Buck after this. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hoofling system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show, brought to you by Peterson and Smith, Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We had an amazing honor that after Buck Brannaman's clinic at the Florida Horse Park, he actually came and sat with us for quite some time. And we got to have this really nice chat with him. And I did not expect him to be so humble.
Humble and
Yes.
give us that much time.
Yeah.
After
Yes.
he was actually late to go see Aaron Vale jump because we found out Aaron
Just kidding.
Aaron used to ride with him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So that was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely gave his time, and hats off to somebody of that caliber to be that humble and to give us that time. And to me, it's one of the best interviews I feel I've ever seen or got to participate in.
Yeah, because we got to ask him questions that were kind of different from the same old, same old. So for this show, we are actually splitting up that chat with him into 3 segments for you guys so that you can enjoy the time we had. And he just was very candid and very down to earth. And he is probably one of the finest horsemen in the world and probably one of the most well-known. And those of you who have ever watched the Horse Whisperer movie with Robert Redford, he had a huge part in the making of that movie. And what an incredible guy he is. I really enjoyed meeting him. That was the first time I got to meet him. So here is Pete and I at the Florida Horse Park after Buck Brannaman's clinic when he had this wonderful little time to chat to us. I hope you enjoy it.
Brought to you by the Equine Initiative, presented by Piranha, the Horse Talk Show, and Larson Hay.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television. And we, Pete and I, have an absolutely fantastic opportunity to talk with one of the best horsemen in the world. And that would be Mr. Buck Brannaman.
Ooh.
Buck, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
It's really an honor for both of us,
Yes.
seeing you in action here at the Florida Horse Park and
thank
having a chance to chat to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to us to start with, and I know Pete has some questions as well. I know he's itching to ask you some questions, but talk to us a little bit about the importance of making a horse feel safe.
Well, it's everything to me. You know, I hear every day I hear the words of Ray Hunt where he would say, I'm just trying to see how much I can get a horse to do for me without being troubled. And, you know, it's number one, it's about keeping you safe. If your horse isn't real troubled, then you're probably going to be safe. But the other part is I was talking about it yesterday. I said if the horse is learning things in the right frame of mind, well, it'll carry over from one day to the next. And you won't feel like every day you're starting over, you know, like that movie 50 First Dates, you know, where you catch your horse and he looks at you and he's like, and who the hell are you? So if he learns things in a good frame of mind, it's going to carry over. But not only that, it travels. Meaning, just the opposite of what I hear from people all the time in these clinics. They'll say, Buck, you know, I'm so embarrassed. But I swear to you, he's really good at home. And I'm like, how do you want me to respond to that? I can't go live with you. So, and I tell them a lot of times, I say, well,
We probably all wish you could.
I say, well, I'm 2,000 miles from home and my horse is good. So what do you think that's going to be? I'll go home and get bucked off? No. If that horse really trusts you and trusts the support that you're trying to give him, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're at a horse show or at a branding or whatever it might be, all he needs is you. If in fact the way you're riding the horse puts him in a good frame of mind.
Right.
And I want my horses to associate safety and peace with me. But it doesn't mean I don't ask them to perform and be athletic and be handy. But it's, how does he feel about it when he's doing all that, you know?
Really important, the relationship. And
It is to me.
Yes, and the foundation of the California Vaqueros was very much handling livestock and horses. It was all about the trust and the relationship.
Yeah.
And a horse is so much more willing to do anything you ask, even new things, when you have that.
You think about it. Some people that haven't been from the world I come from, they think that being a cowboy is a nasty name to call somebody. They think that it would infer that you're some sort of ignorant primitive that eats raw meat and drags women around by the hair.
That's so true.
The world that I come from, being a cowboy, is considered an art. Mm-hmm. And it's something you'll spend your whole life at poverty level because you love what you do, the craft of being a cowboy. And for a lot of people that have never visited that part of the world, They have no idea what I'm talking about right now.
That's true. You're right.
So during your clinic, Buck, you do a lot of talking, which, I mean, I can sit here for hours listening to. What is it doing for the horse? Because I know there's a purpose to that story, watching all the horses around, what little I know compared to what you know. Why do you do so much talking and just sitting there?
Well, there are times when I really feel like the horses need a little time to absorb what's going on. So often it's a good time to maybe give people some information on things to where there's a bit of a lull, where they let that kind of penetrate, let it kind of soak with the horse, because sometimes they can be trying so hard that the horse never gets a break, so he can't really absorb what's taking place. And it's sort of like when you go to a library, you're probably not going to hear a bunch of damn rap music, which is an oxymoron because I don't consider that music, frankly. But
I'm with you.
But it's quiet there. It's an environment that you can think, study, and absorb. And that's what the situation, the learning situation, should be for the horse too. But for some people, I always tell people, I want the horse to look at me as the source of peace. For some people, you know, I talk about horses always looking for monsters, you know. Yeah, but more often than not, the monster's on his back. And I don't want him to see that in me.
Yes, sir.
That's very accurate. That's good information. So tell us a little bit about, I know out there in the documentary and a book and it's out there that, you know, your childhood was difficult. And I know that a lot of people like a pass for a lot of behaviors and things and habits.
Right.
You really took what you grew up with and you didn't take the pass. You went after your passion. You made your livelihood your passion. And you are one of the most renowned horsemen in the world. Can you talk a little bit about how you took those challenges and how young folks now coming up in this world should grab a hold of life and do what they love and not allow childhood, past hardships?
You know, it's kind of one of those things that my story's not that unique. There are lots of people that have in their family situation have come from a really dark place. And that's kind of why I wrote the book. I wasn't trying to find closure with me. Hell, I was fine. But I wanted the book to sort of encourage people to understand just because you have a dark beginning, well, it's not a foregone conclusion that that's how your whole life's going to be. That's up to you.
This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here and Dancin Pete Rodda from Complimentary Horsemanship. And you just heard the first part of our little chat with one of the finest horsemen in the world, Buck Brannaman, at the Florida Horse Park. We were very, very blessed and fortunate to have this time with him. We hope you enjoyed that first part. And this is going to be in 3 parts. So here is the second part of Buck Brannaman. And we certainly hope you enjoyed as much as we did.
Just because you have a dark beginning, well, it's not a foregone conclusion that that's how your whole life's going to be. That's up to you. And I have pondered it over the years because I remember the day I was sitting on a haystack at my foster parents' ranch and we were hand stacking hay and it was 100 freaking degrees and you're just dirty and sweaty and the bales are crappy. None of them fit. They're all different sizes and it's just, kind of one of them days. But us foster kids, we worked our ass off for those guys, but they loved us in return. But I had a day that it dawned on me. I'm just sitting there waiting for the next load of hay to come. And I thought, I could not take responsibility for my life. And I'm pretty sure from what I've already been through, people would feel sorry for me for the rest of my life and probably give me a free pass for maybe not being a very good guy because they could say, well, it's somebody else's fault because of what he went through. And I don't know. I don't know why that came to me, but I just thought, or I could just not accept any of that and just try to be something good. And it's like that day, I don't know, maybe that's a God thing, that day it was like, you better make a damn decision because right now's the time. And I never really looked back after that. It's just, and I learned after being around Ray and things, it made more sense to me. Probably one of the more meaningful things Ray Hunt ever told me, he said, I live in the moment. I don't live in what happened last month or last year or any other time. I live in the moment. He said, I don't even know if there's going to be tomorrow, but I live in the moment right now. And he said, I don't mind that a bit. So.
It's incredible. Share a little bit about the difficulties of people versus horses. So there's a lot of really good horsemen out there in the world, but they can't transfer that to two-legged. You do that very well.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I love horses, and that's pretty obvious. But I love people too. Not everybody. But for the most part, generally speaking, I do. Because I think most people are good, or they want to be, and I think they're doing the best they can with what they know. And, you know, all these other people in the horse business, it seems like it's so common that people spend a lot of energy saying bad things or negative things about someone else who's maybe in the same business. I've never really had any time for that. I've been too busy trying to do my own deal. And I don't have negative things to say, or I don't talk other people down. I don't. I think everybody's probably trying to do the best they can with what they know anyway. And yet probably there'll be some people watching this that maybe see themselves as a competitor or something of mine. That maybe have decided for some reason or another, well, I never did like that guy. That's okay. You got to own that. That's not me. Because I've been just doing my own thing my whole life and trying to do good without hurting anybody. And yet you can't be in the business this many years without accidentally hurting people's feelings or saying things that you wish you hadn't said. But at least I reflect on it and I try to be better. And I think that's probably a whole lot better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Indeed, yes.
Well, I was going to say, what advice would you give somebody that's trying to do what you're doing? Like for myself, when I'm trying to help somebody to look at the horse differently, what advice would you give to somebody like me that is trying to go out there and not do exactly what you're doing, but to get people to look at horses in a different way so that they can get better and the horse can feel like a good feel to it?
Well, on one hand, I think, and I say this often to people, when you're in this horse thing, the way I see people is you're in it for one of two things: to feed your ego or to feed your soul. And I don't think you can be a little bit one or the other. It'd be like being a little bit pregnant, you know. You're one or the other. And if you're in it to make things better, to feed your soul, well, I think you're probably going to make the right choices and do the right things with other people too. If the horse is just a vehicle to stroke your ego or fill some great void that you have, probably isn't going to work out worth a damn anyway, whether it's horses or some other vocation that you're doing. But you have to really love horses.
You have said something that really resonated with me on several occasions, and that is that horses are healing and that it's spiritual. And we see in our equine education programs here in Marion County, children who never speak get around horses and speak. We see it with our therapy horses and in our therapeutic riding programs where lives are changed and it's from within. I know I spend 5 minutes in the round pen with my Mustang and my endorphins kick in.
Yeah.
It's healing.
It's pretty crazy. Really, if you think about it, the horse has been a part of human civilization for a long time. And just about the time you think the horse isn't of much use to us anymore, he reinvents himself and he still has value to us as humans. Whether it would be in a therapeutic riding thing or something for veterans. But, you know, people still make a living cowboying on horses too and doing what they've been doing for a couple hundred years. But I think the horse will always have a place with humans. They're a gift, and it is remarkable what they do for some of these kids. And Like there was a deal in California. What the hell was it called? But it was for the kind of the gangster kids that were trying to come off the street. I wish I could think of it. It's a really good organization. But anyway, they have a horse program, and some of those inner city kids, it's amazing how some of those kids who, if you just knew them in their natural environment, they're animals. They're raised like animals. They're savages. But then they get around horses and they become children again. That's homeboys, that's what it's called in LA. And the horses were able to do things for those kids that there were no words that another human would be able to say that would have had that kind of effect, no matter who it was. That's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. There's a way they have of getting to your soul.
Yeah.
And they change things. And I think that there's no other large animal that we can develop a relationship like that with.
No, well, I don't know. I don't think so. But, you know, maybe someone who's
I've been fond of
really,
a cow or
really,
two, but,
really
you know.
good with, you know, elephants or something.
Right.
Maybe they would say, you don't know what you're talking about. I got a thing with elephants. It's amazing, but we just don't have very many elephants in Wyoming.
No,
So.
we don't have many here either.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hoofling system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty,
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. And thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We are about to
bring you the third part of our little chat at the Florida Horse Park with Buck Brannaman. We hope you've enjoyed part one.
And we didn't want to separate them in one show, so you got to hear the whole thing. So that's why we're doing back to back to back instead of separating it through 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes, because a lot of what we talked about with him was kind of a run through from even the beginning of the conversation, where we kind of tag teamed and just got to have this candid chat with him, which is really fantastic. Now, Pete mentioned us wanting to put it all together in one show, which is why we did it this way. But if you'd like to see it completely uncut and all in one segment, you actually can go to YouTube and subscribe. And you can find us at the Horse Talk Show TV. And Buck Brannaman's entire interview is on there, and it's not broken up at all. So we hope you'll find us there and subscribe and listen to Buck. He's really a great horseman. The first time I was a little bit nervous interviewing somebody since maybe 10 years ago. So we hope you enjoy this third and final segment. We hope you'll also find him on our YouTube and listen to it in its entirety. Here's the rest of Buck Brannaman.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but give us a quote that Ray Hunt said that you've never said before. Maybe a private moment if you could, or just something that would be, because I love when you talk about Ray Hunt. I got to see him twice, and it was just fascinating to listen to him.
Well, I remember so many times he would say, do less than what you ever thought you needed to do, and you'll get more than you've ever gotten. And that's the thing that is really hard for humans to wrap their head around, because we tend to think more is more. And yet it's not always going to be, fuzzy and warm where everybody holds hands and sings Kumbaya. Sometimes you have to be strict, you have to be firm, but with love. And the compassion is still there. You simply calculate what you need to do, and you do what it takes in the moment, but you're sure anxious to do less when you can. But that doesn't mean we don't want a horse to be able to do some things. It's not like I just pitter-patter around and never get a horse to do anything for me because I'm so afraid of upsetting things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting a horse handy, getting him where you can go do a job on him, but he understands his job and he enjoys doing it with you. That's the deal for me.
That's the ideal deal.
Yeah.
It's the dance, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's the dance. And I hear you refer to it often as a dance.
Yeah.
And it's that perfect union of horse and rider that we all want.
Yeah. And it's a chase, your whole life. Like I said, when I go back home in a couple of days, I go right back to my normal winter thing, and that is I go to the barn and spend the whole day there working on me, trying to make me better. And if you think about it, if you're being realistic, where I am right now in my life, I could rest on my laurels and not get a damn bit better than what I am, and I could make a living for the rest of my life, no problem. But to me, that would be like being dead. So, when I'm home, it's treasured time for me to try to improve and be better. And then, I try to take that to everybody else when I'm out on the road doing clinics. But a friend of mine, back in the days when I was riding polo horses for the Rolex polo team, that was a long time ago when I was in Palm Beach playing polo. We've been friends forever. I was raised with her kids, went to high school together, and she wasn't known for saying profound things. I loved her to death, but most of the time she was just blabbing, But one time she stopped me and she said, Buck, I'm just going to tell you this. You're a good hand and you know that. But when you die, it probably won't be too long they'll forget how good a hand you are. But they'll remember how you made them feel. And when she said that, kind of annoyed me a little bit at the time because I'm thinking, now why in the hell did you think you needed to say that to me? But then I thought about it and I was like, gosh dang it, Sherry. You're right. You're right.
Well, I was going to say, Louisa and I would probably say you made us feel special for spending all day long teaching, coming in here.
Talking to us.
Talking to us and really coming from the heart about the horse. That's means a lot to us. Made us feel special. This one, hopefully our audience also. Yeah. We really appreciate you.
Buck, I know you have to go on your way to an important appointment, friend of ours. Any last words that you would have for our listeners and viewers?
Gee, I wouldn't know, other than don't be so proud that you can't adjust and change what you're doing, or maybe just stop if things aren't going well. Put a little thought into it. Don't quit. And that was always one of my favorite things that Winston Churchill said was, never, never give up.
You just made her day.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And
he also said the best thing for an inside of the man is the outside of a horse.
Exactly. Some people think Will Rogers said that because he was, quite a philosopher too. But a lot of people attribute that to Will Rogers, but it was Winston Churchill. But yeah, a friend of mine years ago, not too many years ago, she said, Buck, you know me. Don't just write happy trails in this book to me. You tell me something that you want me to really think about. And I did know her pretty well, and she was a bit of a challenge at times. And I put in her book, I said, quit quitting. And she read that and, of course, cried. And that was not my fault. I didn't make her cry. But I might have helped her, too, that day. But a few years later, she told me, she said, that's probably the best thing anybody ever told me. Because she said, at the time, I had a whole lot of quit in me. Wow. When things would get kind of difficult. So, yeah. You just hope for the right words to say at the right time. And you don't always come up with the right thing to say, but you try, do your best,
Well, having sat next to you, I now know why you make horses feel calm. You have that. That's a good place to be.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir, very much for chatting to us, Pete and I. Dancin Pete and I really appreciate it. And I know you've had a busy few days here, and we thank you for taking time to chat.
My pleasure.
Yes, and we have some little goodie bags for you and your crew.
Okay.
And they're travel size because we know you travel, so.
Yep.
So they're travel size, so those are for you guys.
Okay.
Little bottles, very handy.
Thank
and
you.
Then we had that made for you because we thought that's a handy thing to have, isn't
that's
it?
very cool. Yeah. That's nice.
So we hope you enjoy that. It's useful, at least, right?
You bet, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
That was one of the most amazing interviews that I've had, and it was just unbelievable. And as you said, I got a little choked up when I met him because that was the first time I ever met Buck. And
I can't believe you never met him before.
Never met him before.
Incredible, amazing experience it was. It was really, really wonderful. I'm so glad we had the opportunity. I want to shout out for Nathan, who works with Aaron Vale, because he was very instrumental in helping us coordinate this opportunity. So thank you to him and all the wonderful work he does with Aaron Vale's horses. Definitely following in that Buck Brannaman's footsteps there, and who wouldn't want to follow in those.
And the clinic was really fun to listen to because a lot of his philosophies are what I teach and that kind of stuff, not at his level, but it was just really nice to watch.
And our next segment is we're really jumping into something else entirely here, which is I had an opportunity to meet Roslyn, who is a pet communicator. My concerns with those types of things are always, I'm very spiritually careful about what I get involved in, but I was very impressed with this lady. I was very impressed with her abilities, and just having a chance to chat with her and really just kind of get her feeling about some of my animals, which was really wonderful. So we hope you'll enjoy this next segment coming up with Roslyn. She did a phenomenal job, and we'll have some more segments with her
in the future. So enjoy.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show, and I'm actually home at the farm with a new friend, Roslyn Moore. I just met this week. Thank you very much to Ian. Appreciate the new friend and the reference here. And Roslyn Moore is a pet psychic, and I don't think ever met with one before, so we thought it might be a really kind of neat little experiment for the show to share this with you. Perhaps you're interested. Roslyn, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. This is exciting.
It's lovely to meet you for the first time yesterday and have such a good experience with Chester Weber. And
that was fun.
Getting to check the Equine Initiative out. That was great. Thank you for my gifts today. Very thoughtful of you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I figured that was better than macaroons and croissants.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Absolutely. Yes.
What horse girl doesn't want some tack?
I know. Always. Schneider's, great shout
Yes,
out.
Schneider's, exactly. So, because they're great people, because they're family owned, which really drew me to them even more. Okay, so let me tell you how I do this, because every psychic I feel like is different. So I'm a medium for starters, so I can hear, see, smell, taste, because horses will make me taste things, which can get very interesting at times. Yes, but sometimes that happens in the healing process, so people can understand that when they're having trouble eating or digesting or something in their body, I can tell them, well, they can't taste it. It's not the same. They also love to make me taste their cookies, so that can explain which cookies they love.
Is that why you brought me good cookies?
Maybe yes. Which I have a feeling that he actually likes her Mustang. I think he more likes carrots. I feel like he's like a crunchy texture. That's kind of is that true? So you can tell me what's yes or no.
He likes crunchy.
He likes crunchy, yes. So they're texture junkies.
He's actually been beating the absolute ever-living daylights out of a lick that I got from Larson Hay this week because he could get his mouth on it and crunch it.
Yes. They have these innuendos and like things that they do, and so that's more evidential questions that I can ask to figure out so I can connect to their personality, because I'm going to connect, like I need to connect to, I usually like to not see the animal, I'm just different, so I like to figure out their color, their personality, their mannerisms, so that's more evidence-based, and then we go into even deeper things of like their healing, how does their body feel, you know, with dogs, do they have quirks, with horses, cats, like all of them have these personalities, and so I channel those through the human to help everybody have a better relationship.
It's really awesome. And I also, there's something else I'd like to say, because I did actually discuss this with Roslyn first, and that is when we talk about pet psychic, a lot of people who are very concerned about spiritual things, like me, as a very firm believer, want to be sure there's no like tarot cards, Ouija boards and things like that. No offense to anybody who likes to do that, but just to put that out there, that is not something that we're dealing with here. And I was assured of that and chatted to Roslyn first about my concerns with that. So just want to put that out there so nobody's put off by that. Because I think that's important to a lot of people.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm from the deep south of South Carolina, and I get it from all different angles, and I work through God. I ask him before every session, like I'm praying on the way over here, because I just want to connect it. I just want to do God's work, and I feel like between our horses and our people and the dogs and everybody in the animal world, especially since 2020, things are different.
That's right.
So everybody's a little more stressed, and everybody wants more of a cohesive living and more fun. The animals want more fun. They know we're not having fun, and they want more fun. It's like less work, you know? So any of that connection that we can get is always really good. Okay, so let me start with who came. Can I start?
Of course, please. Yes.
Let's. Okay, your horse that is no longer with us. Was that a lighter colored horse?
He was a sort of a reddish bay kind of.
Did he like to get dirty and not be clean?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because he's showing me his color with like sandy dirt all over him.
Okay.
Like he likes that.
Yes, he never liked to be bathed. He hated it all the way to the end of his life. He hated to be bathed.
That's funny. What was his breed?
He was a Tennessee Walker.
Oh my God. Okay. What was his name that you called him?
Sonny.
Sonny. Okay. Did he have a white, really like a star right here?
He had a white blaze that started with more of a circular and down. Yes.
Yeah, well, so he's kind of showing me star, and it's like a strip, and it comes down, and maybe gray around the white on the nose.
Yes,
I don't know if you knew that.
Going gray, yeah.
Knew some of those details. They show me a lot of details that they want me to tell them because they're very proud of the way they look. Even though he liked being dirty, he just loved his conformation, his color, how he holds his body.
I was about to say how he held himself, and you said it.
Yeah,
right as I thought it. Yeah,
he was very cocky, confident.
Yes,
but never would hurt anybody.
Nope.
Wasn't everybody's horse. Not everybody I feel like could ride him.
No.
Very connected with you.
Oh yes, joined at the hip, love of my life.
He's not like a lot of people are like, oh, well, they don't like men. Men didn't baby him, so he didn't care if a man was around him or asked him to do anything. He might tell on you. Like, you babied him and soothed him through every hard task. I would not even call it positive training. I would call it baby training. And then when you needed to, you didn't have to put a lot of pressure on him to be like, we have to do this, because he just trusted you. Y'all had a deep bond.
Deepest I ever had with any animal in my life.
Does the color purple have anything to do with him?
Can't think of it.
Okay, it might come up later.
It probably will.
I don't know why he keeps showing me. Well, I also know like purple reminds me of Weck anyways because it's very majestic.
Yeah.
But he's showing me like that deep purple color of their stand seats, which I think is interesting. Yeah, that might come up. Things come up, and then we find out later. That's why I like to send the recordings.
Yes.
So it's like, oh yeah, that's what this is. He also, the other reason why that color might be so popular in him right now is he always is with you, even with this Joker, like the big guy. Because I feel like they have some of the. I feel like sometimes you're with him, and his energy feels like Sonny. Does that make sense? And that's why you liked him so much.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, I know. Because he's never left you. Like, you know, that we always feel like they leave us. They never really leave us because they're spirit, so they can do anything. And some of them get so close to us that they're like, they know that life is hard and the world is hard for us as humans. So they come in and like really just support us. And so that's what Sonny's trying to give you. That's why he kept bothering me the whole time before we did this, because he's a very strong spirit in you. But that's like God, right? God is always here with us. Jesus is always here to support us and all that kind of stuff. And so they can do it really well through the animals. That's why most animal people are happy. So yeah, I know it's a lot, isn't it? Right?
Well, it's weird because Flynn did not take on any of Sonny's traits until Sonny passed.
Yeah,
it literally happened the day after Sonny passed. I was like, "What are you doing? You can't do that."
And
very strange.
It's Sonny's way of working through Flynn, and Flynn makes it easy for him, so he can come through and be with you. And so there's not a lack of.
She told me to bring tissues.
Yeah. Sorry, sometimes I need it myself, but not right now.
No, you don't want this one, do you? No.
But so the loss of a physical pet is so hard that they can come back spiritually, because Sonny's not a new soul, he's an old soul. So it's easy for him to come back through Flynn to support you and to make this an easier transition for him to have to pass or have not being here. How long has it been since he passed?
He died 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, okay. You know, it feels like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you can breathe now, which is
I can say his name without crying, but I couldn't for a long time.
Yeah. That's just that close connection, which is why. Is it Flynn or Finn? Flynn. Why he is such a good component to have for you, because he's not going to let you cry and get all mopey, because he's going to make you challenging. And then on the flip side, he's also very sensitive and like what I call hold space for you, so you can just release whatever you need to release or be whatever you need to be. So yeah, do you want me to ask Sonny anything?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before you ask, was his passing hard? Was his passing like colic or something very physical?
He ruptured, yeah.
Okay.
And so I had to make the decision to put him down. And he was 35, so I knew there was no going back from a rupture. You know, there was nothing that I could do. So
yeah, well, he's really appreciative because he was tired of that old body. Like he had his moment in that body.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
You do that so well. Dancin Pete Rodda. It's time for complimentary horsemanship's tip of the week.
Dancin Pete's tip of the week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal. Once again, we want to thank WildWorks for sponsoring this
Wildlife Works.
Wildlife Works, excuse me. All right, today's tip of the week is trail loading.
Don't borrow people's shirts. Oh, what was that?
You're not taking my shirt. So, do you prepare your horse for trail loading? Or do you wait until you're ready to go to the show?
Or do you call Pete?
Yeah, or do you call Pete? So, when you trail load your horse, do you take the time it takes to get him loading well? And there are some great show horses that load right up. I've seen it. But there are horses that go to the show that have some trouble, and sometimes I get called in to help with that. And it's just taking that time. And a lot of times I hear, well, I don't have the patience for that. Well, it's not patience in my book, it's knowledge. Once you know how long it really takes to get a horse comfortable, then you start putting the time and having that patience. So when you're trail loading your horse, make sure you take the time to do it, and then make sure as they understand it, you give that time to wait before you just shove them in there and go to the show. So take your time when trail loading.
I have another point I'd like to make there is be careful how you drive.
Yes, that's a very important point.
Yes, because it's not directly connected to loading your horse in the trailer, but it certainly could be connected to the experience your horse has once it's in the trailer and what it actually associates that trailer ride with. And if it's bumping and swerving and back and forth and stopping a lot and swerving and driving over curbs and all that kind of thing, you actually could make your horse not want to go in the trailer no matter how you handle it.
Right.
So, and then there's trailer safety, of course, which is a whole segment by itself, but there's so much that you need to be aware of and very careful with other people, because a lot of other people will come storming up behind you, you know, not realizing it takes you longer to stop the trailer than if you didn't have a trailer. They're very impatient at times.
And don't get mad at them. A lot of times, most people don't realize that it takes you twice as long or 3 times as long to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a pretty heavy rig when I'm traveling, and people don't realize that it takes me almost as long as a semi-truck to stop or slow down. And people don't realize, well, I was going to speed up. Well, if you're listening right now, yes, I don't know that, though. So when you pull in, I'm thinking you're not going to go very fast, and I need to start putting on the brakes, because if I don't and you don't speed up, I'm going to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
and I don't at this point exactly know all the results of this, but I do know very recently, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a terrible accident in Lexington on the highway. And I know that at least 3 of the horses were actually killed in that accident. I don't know what happened or why it happened, and I don't know whose fault it was, but I know how sad that is and how upsetting that is for the owners and the caretakers and caregivers. So, you know, it can turn out to be a very tragic thing. So horse trailering, as I said, it's a whole segment.
And if you're behind us, we're going slow because we're taking care of our horses back there. We have to take a long time to speed up, and it takes a long time to slow down.
We do indeed.
Horse Talk Show is about to go to the dogs. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessey, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. Reward your dog for being good, even if you're not training. We tell our dogs no so many times during the day for things that we don't like, so why not give them a nice little yes, a rub on the ears, a pat on the belly, and tell them what a great dog they are. Even if they're really not doing anything, but they're being good. Reward them.
Okay, we're going to use the British to American, it was like I like to say is Louisa talk, translator. So what is a plaster?
A plaster is a Band-Aid.
Why do you call it a plaster?
Actually, we need to Google that.
Oh, you don't even know.
I don't know. It was always called a plaster. When I got a boo-boo when I was a kid, my mum would say, "Do you need a plaster?" And I would get a plaster.
That sounds so strange.
Band-Aid sounds like a concert to raise money for a cause to me. Sorry.
Oh, it's Band-Aid is a brand name. We just got that from Kylie on the other side of the show.
The set, yeah. Very good. So, what else are we going to do? Oh, we could do some re-mentions, couldn't we? So, in closing for this week's show, we're going to mention again the Equi First Aid, which is on May the 12th. And the Equi First Aid is at Midnight Rose Equestrian Center, and it is $99. So worth it. Equicool Down is going to be there, partnered with Midnight Rose Equestrian.
You're your horse's first responder. That's my favorite saying with this thing is if you have a problem, you're the first one on the scene. You're the one that decides, do we need to take it to the vet, or can the vet come out and help us? So it will be very educational. TPR, temperature, pulse, respiration, those are important to learn how to do. And the other things that they're going to show you can be life or death for your horse and give you a peace of mind. Because I'd like to know, some of the things if I'm going to have a problem with my horse, I want to feel good, that I know what to do.
Yeah. And if you're having horses having a symptoms of colic, how fantastic to be able to recognize those. And even if you know all these things, but you really need a refresher, this is also a great opportunity just to have a refresher course. So you can find that information at Midnight Rose Equestrian and check it out, get signed up to do that, and so worth a $99 investment. This is going to give you a lot of information that you need. And I think that's all that we have for this week, isn't it? Except I don't want to give your shirt back.
You're going to give me my shirt back.
It looks better on me than it does on you.
Okay. Well,
check us out. Make sure you check us out on YouTube at the Horse Talk Show TV and subscribe, please. Check us out on the Equus TV network, on all smart TV networks, or you can download that app on your phone and watch us on there. Find us at the Horse Talk Show. Follow us. Like us on Facebook. We always like to be liked. And
I like to be liked.
You like to be liked. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not, happy horsing around.
See you next time.
Next week.